All right, let's.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the infamous Donut Shop Cop, the podcast. And we are back, me and my partner Andy, we are back. This is your one-stop shop and destination where we dive into the captivating world of real estate investing, sprinkled with an irresistible aroma of freshly baked donuts. And I do have some donuts because I'm a fat kid. I promised donuts for tonight. So my partner Andy over there, somewhere on the screen, we're going to take you on a little journey today about how we met and how we started investing in real estate. So Andy, why don't you tell the folks and kids at home watching how you and I met and why the hell we're in a donut shop?
Okay, so it was Akron, Ohio at 3:00 in the morning. And I was on my laptop at a donut shop. They had Wi-Fi. Making some really bad real estate decisions, and he walks in with his whole uniform on, and he taps me on the shoulder. He says, "Excuse me, sir, but you're making some really bad investment decisions there, so you're under arrest." I am the donut shop cop, and I'm like, "What the hell?"
You're like, "This is ridiculous, man. That's not even real." Yeah, no, we won't even talk. But he had powder all over his mouth, so he's claiming he was a powdered donut he was eating. So I don't. Shit just happens, it is what it is. So whether it's bad investment or not, who knows? But that's why we're in a donut shop. But tonight, obviously, we have got a wonderful guest named Amanda Fornelli. She is from Nepali Properties, and I will let her explain exactly where that's from. But Amanda, man, this is awesome, girl. So I'm excited for tonight. So first, I always ask this from people. So just tell people, where are you right now, and where you live? What do you do? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I'm super excited. I feel super honored. So my name is Amanda Fornelli. I'm based out of Yucca Valley, California. If you have no idea where that is, that's not uncommon. It's bordering Joshua Tree, California. So Joshua Tree is a big vacation rental market. It has a national park. Anyway, so my husband David and I, which was a guest here a couple of weeks ago with you guys, we both moved out here a couple years ago, but we're from the Los Angeles area, born and raised, Southern California folks. And we are a team of three. We run an real estate investment company called Nepali Properties. It's myself, David, and my brother Oscar. So we're a true family team. We can talk about later what it's like to work with team with your family as team members, but it's a lot of fun. And we do residential fix and flip. We also do short-term rental, buy and hold, and we also have a boutique hotel. So something that we're more recently getting into is the commercial space as well. So a little bit of everything, but we've been in business for about 3, going almost on 4 years now.
That's crazy. That's crazy in such a short amount of time.
Yep.
That's what you don't think about, right? But I mean, all three of us, I think, on the screen can resonate with what you just said, because all three. Well, you're down in Andy's hood. I'm up in the better half of California, up in Northern California.
Debatable.
No hating on Southern Cal. I love SoCal. We got a timeshare in Newport, so don't hate on me, folks. But Andy's down from the SoCal area too, so you guys are neighbors. Although you're farther out in the desert than Andy is, but all three of us, it's a family-run business, right? My wife and I run our business. Andy and his wife run his business. So I joke with David, like, I didn't even know where Yucca Valley was, and I thought Joshua Tree was like Monterey, where it was just one tree. I didn't know there was like multiple trees to go look at in Joshua Tree. So.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
Come on, there's some cool stuff that happens in Joshua Tree, and there's some cool stuff that happens at like Coachella. You can go to that. What else is the other big event there besides Coachella?
All the dope smoking events. That's where weeds grow.
Yeah, tons of stuff.
But see, that's the whole point of why we want to have you on, right? Because there's Stagecoach, there's Coachella, right? So people need a place to stay while they're there.
Yep.
And
Yep.
you know, your amazing husband told us that you were the mastermind behind all of this.
Maybe,
did,
maybe
he did.
not.
He did.
I mean,
So
it's a
tell us,
team.
how'd you
Yeah.
get into real estate? Like, I mean, because obviously you have a phenomenal educational, professional background, which we don't need to get into, because you're like Wonder Woman before you became into real estate, and then you became like Superwoman. So like, why real estate? Like, what even got you the bug? How'd you get the bug? Because it's a bug, it's a virus.
It totally is. It wasn't even on my radar before I started in real estate, to be honest. As you alluded to, I was doing a lot of other things prior to that, working in corporate America. I got laid off, and that was in July 2019. And at that point, I thought to myself, gosh, like, do I want to keep doing this? Do I want to try something new? And when I say we, David, Oscar, and I had talked about running a business together. We were running a small business together already, but we wanted to do something bigger and better. And one day, I think it was October 2019, scrolling through Instagram, just wasting my time, and an ad pops up, and I see an ad for a real estate education workshop, a 2-hour workshop.
That same ad.
Yep. They got us, and I was like, this is pretty cool. I want to check it out. It's free. Why not? David couldn't make it, so Oscar and I went, and we're like, man, we love what they're saying. We're like drinking this Kool-Aid, right? And we're like, oh, cool. They have a 3-day event. That's just a couple $100. Like, we'll just show up, learn, take notes, and then head out the door. Like, we're not drinking this Kool-Aid. We show up, and they have their rah, 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 and they have their speakers, and the room is full. And then this guy sits down with us. I don't know if David told the story, by the way, but this guy sits down with us.
This is a much better story than
it's pretty interesting. I mean, what we did was cool, but this guy sits down with us, and he's probably like in his late 20s. He's like, yeah, I've been doing this since my early 20s. He's sitting there with his Rolex, and he's like, yeah, I've been doing real estate investing. And he's the one trying to sign us up for the program. And I'm like, oh man, this guy's really reeling us in. So we went home on Saturday night, and we looked at each other and we're like, are we going to do this? Are we going to buy into this really expensive real estate investment program? It totally called out to us. Long story short, we signed up, and the rest is history. I mean, we learned the program, and we try to implement everything we learned ever since.
That's classic. So Amanda and I are from the same background, cut from the same cloth. So my story is almost as hilarious as yours, Amanda. So same thing. I'm watching, because I get off work at 2:00 in the morning, 3:00 in the morning. And so I'm laying in bed, same thing, wasting my nighttime hours away when I should be sleeping, scrolling on the phone. And this ad pops up. And so I go to this 1-day thing, and I'm like, they're probably going to scam me. They want money out of me. I'm not going to buy anything. I walk out the door. My wife's like, don't buy anything. Like, we don't have any money extra for that stuff. I'm like, okay, no worries. I go hook, line, and sinker. I start drinking the Kool-Aid. They tell me about a 3-day event. I'm like, yeah, I can go to the 3-day event. Like, and they're like, yeah, it doesn't cost anything. Just come to the 3-day event. I'm like, okay, I'll go to the 3-day event. And then you had to bring somebody. You could bring somebody for free, right? And so I'm like, I call my wife. I'm like, we're going to this 3-day event. She's like, no, we're not. I'm like, no, we're going to the 3-day event. Like, it's free. Like, we can go to this event. She's like, no, you should take your dad. And Amanda's met my dad, and so has Andy. So you guys appreciate the story. So I call my dad. He's like, why aren't you going with Nikki? Like, I can't go. And so I take my wife, and my wife says, we are not buying anything. Like, hook, line, and sinker, we're not buying anything. And lo and behold, who's on stage? Sean.
It's Sean. You had Sean.
Sean is the guy on stage for the 3-day event, right? Before we got to sit at a little table with the guy with the watch, and the night I've been in real estate forever, about this expensive program, and we ended up buying the program.
You never had a chance. If Sean was up there, you never had a chance.
Never had a chance. And to one up it, we get assigned our first coach. And our first coach is a woman named Amy Majuri.
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding you. And I had no idea at the time, because Sean talked about his marriage and that kind of thing. So we didn't put 2 and 2 together because it was a 3-day event. And then it's a couple weeks, because you go to like another class before you actually start your coaching program and all that kind of stuff. And so then we meet Amy, and then Amy starts talking about, oh yeah, my husband does this too. And we never put it together until like years later. I'm like,
Wow.
holy crap, that was Sean and Amy. So that was my first introduction to both Sean and Amy
Wow.
and how we drank the Kool-Aid. And that's what started us, right? So
I love it.
I have
love
two
it.
questions. Okay. First question is, where's the guy with the Rolex?
yeah.
You know, he's actually a rapper, I think. He really cool guy though. We still run into him at events, but he's such an awesome dude. His name is Jean-Luc. Shout out. He's amazing. Still doing real estate, but man, now he's like following his passion, which he loves to sing and rap, and he produces music. So that's huge because he used real estate as a vehicle for that. And he still loves real estate and he still loves doing sales at events and stuff, but he's totally crushing it. Yeah, big inspiration. What's cool about our interaction with him is we're like, where the hell are we gonna, it was 50 grand. Where the hell are we gonna bring 50 grand to the table and do it in a day? And Jean-Luc sat us down. He goes, look, and we talked about this at conferences before. He's like, sit down. This is what you're gonna do. He's like, you're gonna apply for a credit card. You're gonna apply for a credit card, and you're gonna apply for a credit card. The three of us. So David got approved on the spot for $20K. Oscar got approved on the spot for $20K. And then I got approved for $10K. Despite having the best credit score, totally gender biased, like gender discrimination. Don't get me started on that. We raised $50K on the spot, 0 interest for 15 months. And that's how we financed our education program. We paid it off with our first deal. So pretty cool.
That so funny. And awesome. To answer your question, Andy, the guy with my Rolex, shout out to Lance King, because he's still crushing it as well, but he was pretty big and just passive income. So now he's living on Maui. He's living in Maui, Hawaii. Him and his wife, they had a house in Colorado as well. So they're going back and forth. And so, he moved to Maui, Hawaii right before the fire, actually, but his house was okay. But that was kind of their introduction to Maui. They had literally just moved to Maui to move their family there. And so, but they're safe and all good, but shout out to him. But we did the same thing Amanda did. We already had a credit card that had like $10,000 or $15,000 limit that we hadn't used because we wanted to save our credit. And they told me the same thing. Here's what you do. Call the credit card company and ask them for a credit increase because your credit score is probably good. And we did. I called them on the phone, and within 5 minutes of being on the phone, I went from a $15,000 credit limit to a $35,000 credit limit, and they gave us 0% interest for 12 months. And that's what we used to finance ours as well. So, and we paid ours off with our first deal as well that Amy helped us and coached us into.
Amazing. So, that's awesome. I love to hear it.
Okay, so I'm the one that always brings us back, Amanda, to the subject, just so you know, okay? So I want to really bring out that point because people say, I can't afford this. I don't know how to get into this. This is too expensive for me, $50,000 for education, blah, 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 blah. And my whole thing is I went to college. Chris went to college. I'm sure you did, right? Oh, yeah. Because I heard you did, right? And some people are still paying off their student loans and will never get ahead. So when you say you paid it off in your first deal, think about that, people, right? When you're thinking $30,000 is a lot of money, but if you can get that back in your first deal, and then I understand you guys made $28,000 last month or 83,000 or some crazy number last month.
The hotel revenue.
Yeah,
right?
The hotel did, I think, like 85 in revenue, which was amazing.
Yeah. So I want people who are watching this, the one person plus, the 4 that'll join later.
And my mom.
and my wife. Like,
to understand that the power of this is that, yes, it sounds like a lot of money up front, but you're setting yourself up for life, right? And right. for things that a college education will never teach you how to do, right? So I'm going to be a little long-winded.
And sometimes you got to bet on yourself, right? And that's kind of what we did, right? And when you put that much into it, you're into it, right? Like there's now that mental mind shift that says, I need to at least make this money back, right? Because I don't know how I'm going to pay this back, but I know that I just bet on myself. So you better believe I'm going to go work my tail off to pay it back, right?
Fire under our ass. Absolutely. Like we didn't give ourselves an option. So it was really hard the first year. and we just gave ourselves no option. We got to pay this off. We got to pay this off, and then we got to make more after that. We really got to turn this into something. And maybe that's one benefit of the big price tag, is it makes you take things really seriously at that point, because not everyone can drop that kind of money or take that kind of risk. But we did. Thankfully, it's been paying off. So we're happy about it.
I'm with you, but not only betting on yourself, right? But it's that taking action. And that's the hard part for, people listening or people that will watch later is that action taking, right? Everybody tells you just take the action, but it's easier said than done. But it's the same thing when investing, right? All three of us here raise money, and we'll talk about kind of how you started with that and how you transitioned from that to what you're doing now, Amanda. But to all the cops out there that I talk to, there's that fear, just the same fear that you and I just talked about, sitting at that table, like, oh shit, this is 50 grand, right? This is a big number for us. For some, that's not a big number, but for most of us, that's a big number. Still today, that's a big number.
Yeah.
It's a big number.
But take that first step, right? And then pretty soon you start taking step after step of how I'm going to fix this. So let's talk about raising money, right? Because that's obviously kind of your bread and butter of your portion of the company and how you got started. So tell us how you started that hustle.
Oh gosh, private money. Oh, I love the topic. Where do I start? Well, we divvied up all the roles and responsibilities with the company, and I landed in the acquisitions finance department. So my job for the three of us was to become a true expert in that space. And I had never raised a penny before. I didn't know what I was doing. It took us months to even get our first commitment. I really didn't feel comfortable. I didn't have the tools or systems. Like, what the hell are we going to do? Like, we actually have deals that we're getting under contract, but we're afraid of closing on them because we don't know how we're going to fund them. So I was still part of the education program, and I get on a call with a coach who was tagged as great at raising private money. I was like, all right, we got to talk to this lady. The three of us get on a call with Amy Majuri. For those of you that don't know, we get on this call with her. We talked to her for 30 minutes, blown away. I was like, oh my God, you were the answer to everything that we've been looking for this aspect of our business. Can we schedule another coaching call? She's like, I'm leaving. Oh no, we were so bummed, but she's like, I'm actually starting something on my own. I said, I don't care what it is. Send me the link. I'm going to follow you. And I was one of her first 5 students. So awesome. Early adopter, a big fan of Amy ever since, when I met her in 2020. Got right into her program. I think I finished all her modules in 3 weeks, and I was just like, go, take action, credibility pieces, blah, 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 all that. And I just worked at it. And I think around October 2020, I texted Amy, and she still has this text message. I said, hey, Amy, I'm going to make it a goal to raise $1 million in a year. I said, I'm freaked out about this, but I'm going to try. May 2021, I had already reached that goal, and I texted her and I was like, I don't know how I did this, but we got $1 million in verbal commitments. So that's where it all started. And yeah, I've been building on that ever since.
So what do you think the total dollar amount is now? Just over time, not investment specific, like just a ballpark number since 2020. How much has Nopali Properties raised in private money?
I would say about probably close to 4 million in like commitments, obviously, come and go, and availability changes, but I would say close to 4 million. And if you include the syndication that we were recently trying to put together, that was another 6 million or so. So 10 million maybe that we've had through some sort of verbal commitment over the past few years.
So you guys took a different path.
Andy, you know something about raising capital. Andy's done the same thing. So when your 96 unit hit, Andy, how much private money have you raised, Andy?
$4.5 million.
Yeah. Yes, love it. Congrats.
Raising private money is alive and well in real estate today, and I wish I could have harnessed because obviously when Amy was coaching me back in 2017, 2018, she hadn't started RPM yet, right? And so she used to tell me some things that still resonate with me today is when I call it doing it the wrong way, but there's never really a wrong way, but I call it now doing it the wrong way is I would put my own credit on the line to buy a house the traditional way. and I would go get hard money from a hard money lender and pay 2 points, pay 10.5% interest or 11% interest sometimes. And then I would, I would pay for the rehab costs and I would put the down payment down. And Amy used to always harp on me because when she first started coaching, she's like, how much money do you have in the bank? And so I would tell her, because I like having money in my bank. I'm just a conservative guy. I like having money in my bank. And she's like, you should never have that much money in your bank. And it never resonated with me. She's like, you need to get that money moving, right? And she introduced me to kind of how to be a lender at that time. And I really never took that advice because we were so focused. And that wasn't her job at the time. Her job was to help us get systems and processes in place to build our business, which I'm glad she did. But had I been able to multitask and in 2018 use her knowledge then, I still think I'd have been unstoppable today because
you are unstoppable.
You still are. You still are.
I'm a little pee-wee compared to you guys, but just in a year and a little over a year that I've been back with Amy now in RPM, it's a little over 2.5 million. And I never would have thought that, right? And about $1 million to $1.1 million is actually invested in properties. And you can't make that shit up. Like that's Amy and this community. So
yeah, that's awesome. And what's even bigger than that number is the effect or the benefit you're bringing to your fellow cops. I mean, you can't put a number to that. That's bigger than anything. Like you're helping secure their future, which it's really invaluable. So kudos to you. You've been doing amazing. We've been watching you. We've been watching.
That's cool. I appreciate it. And that's why Andy and I are here, because Andy, has kind of championed kind of the vision that I had. And he's, the brains behind this brawn of how do we help people and how do we help cops. And, I have to thank Andy for that because he's kind of given us this platform. But it's phenomenal when you see the cops. Like I've got 5 or 6 cops now that have invested, some more than others. Some start at 10K, some start at 25K, whatever they can. And that's still a lot of money. But just to see the gratitude, right, and the knowledge that they get and the questions they ask now, it's really cool. So
one of my favorite things about raising private money, obviously other than like doing cool deals, I have been able to sit down with a lot of underrepresented minorities and talk to them about private money opportunities, which I come from a very modest background. My community is very historically underrepresented. And I've been able to sit down with them and educate them on something they had never even knew existed and just open their mind to something different. In my culture, we tend to be very conservative, very, very tight with our money, like save, don't invest. And I've been able to take an old school, let's say Latino who has very set ways, very, very traditional mindset, and convince him or her to invest in something like real estate and do private lending. And now I feel so much better because I know that I'm contributing to their wealth, their family's wealth, and not only that, their knowledge, their education. Like that's one of my favorite things that I don't think a lot of people have access to, and I've been able to do that through our deals. It makes me super, super happy.
Yeah, no.
So let's switch gears a little bit here because I want to talk about a couple of things.
Let's do it.
And this is all amazing, and you are such a giver to your community, huh?
Here it comes.
No, but you're in a total different space than most people.
Yes.
Right? Because you're building your empire in hotels or what do you call that?
Boutique hotels.
There you go. Boutique hotels and really vacation style living, right? Most people, I'm not doing that. I know Chris isn't doing that. And I think we talked to David a little bit about that too. But it was a niche that you guys found, right? That was really at the time amazing. And it's in a great spot of California. Are you guys thinking about branching out? How did you get into it? What does that look like for the future? If somebody's thinking about, I want to get into this space, Airbnbs or boutiques, yes, it's a long question. So if you forget what I asked, you could just.
I told you, you got to write it down, Amanda. I told you.
Okay. I think you want to know how we got into like the vacation space, boutique hotels, and if we want to continue working in that space. Is that what you're
Yeah,
asking?
and if you guys are
Okay.
going to branch out on that, or you're
Branch out.
looking at other things like multifamily, and
Yeah.
and how people can get into the deals with you.
Yeah, very cool. All right, so where to get started? So, boutique hotels, for those of you that don't know, boutique hotel, all it means is that it's a non-branded or non-flag hotel. So it's not a Marriott, it's not a Hyatt, it's a non-branded boutique. Maybe it's, one single property. It's usually smaller units. Sometimes not even. Sometimes it's even multiple hundreds of units. But the boutique part is it's non-branded, non-flagged.
Right.
We stumbled upon this opportunity last year when we met up with some people in the Airbnb industry. So they're really good friends of ours now and our business partners. And they brought this deal to us, and we were just completely intrigued as soon as they told us about it. And they offered to partner with us, and they asked us to bring in our expertise on the design and construction piece, also with raising private money, because we did use private money to gap the construction fund for this, which was pretty cool. So we went into it thinking, oh my goodness, this is just another Airbnb. This is just another vacation rental. Easy peasy. We just have 10 Airbnbs in one. We were completely foolish to think that it was just a plug and play. That being said, we learned a lot. It was a really fantastic opportunity to learn the commercial space, how commercial lending works. Everything about it is not everything. A lot of things are very, very different. So that ended up turning into an awesome project. Shout out to our hotel. It's called Yara Palm Springs, YARA. So check it out. We're also on Instagram. That's been amazing. And we leveraged our vacation rental experience in the Airbnb market up here in Joshua Tree to learn about hospitality, every aspect of it, design, construction, customer experience, all of it, right? And so altogether, we made a really, really good team. Moving forward, looking back, we realized we were spending a lot of time learning a new branch of real estate. So we went from fix and flip, and then we're learning Airbnbs, and here we are learning hotels. And it's almost like, man, you got to start over each time. And it's a lot of work, and it kind of slows things down, right? So we want to go back to our roots. Now we're doing a lot more fix and flip. We're going back to the LA market, and we're going to be doing what we know, what we started in, and we're going to be very selective about which buy and hold opportunities we're going to get into in the vacation rental space. So that being said, we are open to looking at other markets. We're looking at maybe looking at other boutique hotels, definitely other Airbnbs, and probably maybe starting to look outside of California. So we're super, super open to it. But again, like being very selective and also just trying to create a well-oiled machine on the fix and flip side.
So
Did I
that's
answer all your
Awesome.
questions?
And you're selling yourself a little bit short, though, because I will interject here, because what Amanda's not telling you is that before all of this Yara and all this grandiose stuff that they were doing, they did fix and flips, but then they transitioned into Airbnb, short-term rental stuff. And not only did they just transition into that space, they're super hosts, by the way, which is no easy feat on its own, on multiple. You also have some nationally recognized properties, if I'm not mistaken, and you've been on covers of magazines because of your designs. So it's not just your average, hey, I got an Airbnb that goes for $193 a night. You guys have mastered the craft of the true experience, right? And that's no easy feat that you just kind of glazed over like a glazed donut. You just kind of glazed over that one, like
Love it. I love it.
like I don't want to take a bite of this donut, but I won't tell you about this one over here. So
I love it.
So what's a good funny or not maybe not even funny, but you talked about earlier, the most rewarding kind of thing is helping your family and helping other people invest. So has anyone come back, or have you, like someone that's invested, have they come back and said, oh my God, like this has really kind of changed my perspective on real estate or money in general and how to budget? Like, do you have a feel good story of a family member or a friend that is now a repeat customer, and why?
Oh my gosh, yes. I was introduced to a private money lender through a friend. It was actually his mother. And he said, hey, she has a little bit of cash to invest. I want her to sit down with you. Spanish speaking only. I was like, great. By the way, I've done presentations in like 3 languages. So
Wait, what's the third?
it was actually Mandarin when I had a translator. So okay, sidebar, really fun.
I thought we were going Pig Latin for a second there.
What's that? No, not Pig Latin.
Pig Latin, Latin.
No, I had a prospective private money lender who spoke Mandarin only. So I invited my sister's old coworker to come on the Zoom and translate. Long story short, the translator had some mad cash and she ended up being a private money lender. At the end of the presentation, she's like, hey, can you stay on a minute? She goes, this sounds great. How do I invest with you? And she had over $500,000 to invest.
Oh, wow.
Amazing. So anyway, anyone could be a lender, just as Amy always preaches. Anyway, where was I going with that? Oh, yeah. Sorry, sidetracked.
And that wasn't one of my questions either. So there you go.
Okay. Oh yes, I have the feel good story. So my friend introduced me to his mom, and Spanish speaking. So I sat down with her. I didn't sit down. I think I did it through Zoom, and I talked with her. I heard about her a little bit about her story, her goals. And turns out, really freaking cool. She is a caregiver and she takes care of elderly. And she took care of this elderly man for years. And oh man, she just like, she loves the people that she takes care of. It's really like her passion. And he left her a cash inheritance when he died that she was not expecting. And it was a lot of money. And she said, I trust you and I want to invest it with you because one day I want to start a nonprofit that provides affordable care for elderly. I was like, this is amazing. This is what I get to contribute to through the work that I do. I get to help this lady grow her money at a great rate so she can go out and do something good for people. So that's been fantastic. She's been lending with us for, I think, a couple of years now. And I hope to get her to a point where she's like, okay, I'm ready to do this. I want to go start my nonprofit. I want to fund this thing and build something really awesome. So that made me feel really good. Yeah, that's amazing.
That's
so
a good story.
$30,000 investment. Look at what happened with that $30,000 original investment, right?
Yeah.
Because you can change people's lives and you won't even know it at the time because you're like, oh my God, I'm afraid to spend this money. But here you are 3.5 years later, right?
Yeah.
And you got that going on, which I love. I think that those
causes. And that's the best part about it, right? And Andy and I talk about it here all the time. It's just another way, and when I talk to investors, even this week, right? People cops that call and say, hey, what it is you're doing? How can I get involved? And you just talk with them and you're just honest with them. And it's just another opportunity for them to get involved in real estate, to let their money work for them in a protected and secured and insured fashion with people they know on projects they know. So they're not one of 1,000 people investing in some unknown building that's, they've never seen and will never see. But it's that life altering thing. Like they can do real estate and not be full-time at it and not have 2 jobs like some of us do. Right. Or, right. They don't have the ability to quit their job and just say, F it, I'm going to go do this for a living. They might not be in that space, but you can still make money in real estate and not be a landlord and not actually do fix and flips and not have to do all of that, right?
Yeah, and you get a front row seat. You get a front row seat to investing. Like people come to us all the time. Hey, I want to invest with you guys. I also want to watch and learn. That's really cool. I respect that a lot, and I always tell my relationships, my private money lenders, you are my VIPs. So if you guys need anything outside of the norm, like some additional resources or education or advice, I will provide anything I can of anything of value to you, because I want to repay you and thank you for the trust that you put into our team. So that's big.
So true. I've got 3 private money lenders right now. 2 are cops and one's a fellow soccer player that I played professional soccer with. All 3 of them invest with me now because I've had pre-existing relationships. All 3 of them now, after their first deal, I'm inviting them, just like you said, as VIPs, to come see the flip that I'm currently doing and see the progress, right? Not pictures, come walk it. Ask me questions, right? Look at the progress that's happening and the timeline it's happening in. And I've shown them the scope of work. I've shown them exactly what we paid for it and how we got it. so like you said, they start to learn not only that they can make money, but they learn the process and they become more familiar with it. And that's the cool part too, because you're educating. And Andy and I say it all the time: I'm dumb and he's dumber, or he's dumb and I'm dumber, or I'm just
You
the
pointed
dumbest.
at me, by the way.
Yeah,
Sorry.
wait, we're gonna move Amanda there.
That proves my point, Amanda. I have no
Hey.
idea where to. I don't know what to do with my hands. But
So wait, I got another question for you. And because Amy said the same thing about her job, what would happen if you never got laid off? How would your life be different?
Gosh, I mean, to be honest with you, I think I eventually would have jumped ship, or not jumped ship, but I think eventually I would have fell into some sort of entrepreneurship. It's always been something that interested me. But I always say I was thrown off the cliff, right? But it's much scarier to jump on your own. Shout out to my brother, because he was working for a Fortune 500 company doing extremely well. And I got laid off in July. And come October of that same year, my brother was like, I'm going to quit. Like, I want something more. So I was thrown off the cliff and I cried about it for at least a week. And then I got over it. My brother like literally jumped off on his own. He's like, I'm going to take a chance on myself. So that's really big. I don't know how long it would have taken me to get to this place, but I know that eventually I probably would have started something on my own, just because I've always wanted to. I always wanted that flexibility and that independence.
And that's the hard part, right? Because every coach and guru will tell you, and they at least told me, and I'm sure they've told the two of you as well, like, and it's the cliche of all cliches: you have to be comfortable getting uncomfortable, right? And I've had two different coaches now tell me over the span of 6 or 7 years, more than two coaches tell me that if you really want to make leaps and bounds, you need to get uncomfortable and you need to quit your job.
Yeah.
He says, because right now, he goes, you're so safe because you have your job. Like, real estate can go up and down for you, and you can scale it back and forth as you live your life in your safe little bubble of your job. And they said, until you take that away, take the safety net away and live life, right? And live that. And so it's hard. You know, I'm kind of at that cross in the road too. And I know Andy's facing the same dilemma, and there's a lot of folks out there in the same dilemma that, you know, I got a W-2 job. So, and
I don't know. I might say something that's not popular. It might not be very, very popular, but I would say, like, you don't need to necessarily quit right away. If you love what you're doing, your W-2, it's providing you security and stability for your family, which a lot of us have. Leverage that to grow your real estate business. And if one day you feel like, man, my real estate business is crushing it, I want to leave, then go for it. I think a lot of people get excited from seeing a lot of influencers like, man, like, quit your job. And honestly, like, David and I talk about this all the time. It's scary. It's hard. It's not easy. We talk about the challenges, and sometimes we wish we had the stability of that W-2, right? And we have a daughter now, right? So it's really, really hard. It's a decision that we made and we're sticking to, and we're figuring it out. But I don't necessarily tell everyone to do it right away, not without a plan, and not without some reserves, and not without, knowing what the risks are. So
Agreed.
I'm not going to tell you to quit your job, but I will tell you to invest in real estate, even if it's part-time.
Invest in real estate. And that's exactly why you're going to be on stage in a month, or less than a month. How many weeks are we?
Oh man, we're in 3 weeks. 3 weeks out. Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Let's promote that a little bit, because from your very grassroots of meeting Amy for the first time till now, you were actually also advising her on some things too, right? For this event that you guys got coming up.
Yeah. So for some reason, Amy has invited David and I to speak on stage for the third time for the conference.
I wonder why.
You're badass.
I keep asking her, are you sure you could still change your mind? But for some reason, she wants us on. But I love and respect Amy so much for inviting us on. And I think, if anything, we're really a true reflection of what she's built, and the success that we've had is because of the stuff that her and Shauna put together. So I really respect her, and I want to do anything I can to support that conference. So yeah, we'll be there in 3 weeks, and we'll be talking about how to establish and nurture private money lender relationships. So once you've already created that list, you have deals. How are you going to nurture that relationship? How are you going to leverage technology? We're going to talk about marketing campaigns and CRMs and ways to keep your lenders happy, right? And then also grow your network through referrals. So that's going to be the focus of our presentation. Very practical, a lot of implementation, but we're super, super excited about it.
We're going
That's
really
awesome.
long, but I do have one more question.
Uh-oh.
It won't be a long question. So you guys talked about being a team. So you are the asset manager, right? Or how is the team broken
Acquisition
down?
manager.
You're the acquisition manager, but you also raise capital. So there's 3 members of the team, right? So talk about who does what, because I think that's important, because most people get into this on their own and then realize, holy crap, I can't do this on my own. It takes a team. I mean, we have a team, right? So my partners and I, we closed on a 96 unit in March. And I got to tell you, it's taken a team to manage that thing.
Yeah. Congrats. That's amazing.
Thank
yeah,
you.
team, man, the teams and roles and responsibilities are so critical. We have a pretty solid process. So I'll go from the project life cycle from start to finish. But on the marketing and lead generation side, it's David. So he gets the phone to ring. He's doing all of our marketing, a lot of our outward facing stuff. And then I do acquisitions and finance. So I get deals under contract. I manage our underwriting process. I help raise capital and close deals. Once they close, we pass them off to Oscar, which does project management. And he has also background in project management in construction, like 14 years. So he's like well suited for it. And then he oversees the sales process. For our buy and holds, which has been more of a recent thing the last year and a half, we have we've given David the really hard task of establishing like a property management arm within our company to manage all of our short-term rentals. And I have to say, like, he's just blown other hosts out of the water. He's done so phenomenal. So that's the most recent department that we've added, and David oversees that as well. So we're all in our own departments, and as we need to grow and scale, we'll see where we can add on different team members. But right now, that's how we handle it, and it works pretty well for us.
And you mentioned,
I just wanted to bring that point up because I'm sorry, I'm stepping on you, Chris. Sorry about
no, it's
that.
okay. Go ahead.
I just want to bring that point up because a lot of people do get into this, and they think that they can be their own, and they don't want to share deals, and quickly they'll find out that it does take this kind of team to put this together and to stay healthy and viable and make money at this, right? So I just want to put it out there to anybody who's watching this is that don't do this by yourself. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah, no,
Agreed.
that's a good point. And I'll just say that if you do bring on a team member or a partner, make sure their skills are complementary to yours. Don't get someone who knows what you know. Get someone who's good at something different, and then that you have a similar culture fit with. Those are the 2 most important things. And if so, like grow your team. Don't do it alone. It's really hard to do it alone.
It is.
All right.
All right, Chris, you're up.
You're gonna love this question. So, because I'm a dad, I got 3 kids, beautiful kids that I love dearly. You are a new mom with your beautiful little daughter. So I will be the one to take us off the rails completely here. So
and he will.
When my kids were
I'll
little,
move him so you can see him that way.
Yeah. When my kids were little, even when they're older, right? There's some things they do that just make me laugh hysterically, and I just cannot stop laughing. And I know you're a new mom, and I know there's a lot of frustrating things that are going on right now, but obviously there's some wonderful things going on too. Is there anything that your sweet little baby girl does now that you and David have just been either caught off guard, laughing so hard, or just pure joy of just looking at her? Like,
goodness.
What's the funniest thing like you've realized about being a mom, or that she's done that's made the 2 of you just burst out in laughing to almost tears?
Oh goodness. I mean, first of all, it's pretty wild that a 2-month-old can have that much of a personality already. Yeah. She's amazing in every possible way, but I don't know. Sometimes I feel like she's laughing at us. I don't know how to
Probably
explain it.
is.
Like she'll be crying and have maybe be fussy. Maybe she has a dirty diaper, and I go to change her, and I'm changing her dirty diaper, and sometimes I feel like she's looking at me and at us and just totally laughing, like suckers, like like you're changing my dirty diaper, because she stops crying and she makes this really funny, cute face, like a little bit of a smirk, and I just think she's laughing at us. Like she totally has us wrapped around her finger. She's amazing. I think she's gonna be a firecracker. So we'll see. But I love her so much. Yeah, it's a great question.
Awesome.
Yeah,
That's awesome. I do that. My wife does that to me every morning. I have her wrapped around my little finger.
I love it.
You got to hold on to those years. You really
Yeah.
do
Go
have
back
to hold
quick.
on to those ties, and that's why we all do this, right? You got to
Yeah,
hold on
absolutely.
to that, and that's why you're doing this for your kids as well.
Yeah.
So,
You have kids,
Yes.
Andy? You have kids?
oh my God, I have grandchildren.
Oh, I love it. That's amazing. How many?
I have two amazing girls.
18.
18, yes, and two of them I know, and the 16 others I have no idea where they're at.
Oh my gosh, that's special for a different reason, I'm sure. Like grandkids are very different. Yeah.
They're
All right. So
amazing.
Amanda, we've almost kept you for time. So now we get to ask the most important question of all that we've been saving for the end. It's 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the morning. We're on shift together. We walk into the donut store behind me. What am I buying you?
Just the classic chocolate glazed donut. That's my
Oh,
favorite. Just super simple.
great.
By the way, Amanda, he's never asked, "What am I buying you?" So you must be
True.
very special.
True.
Hey, I'll take it, man.
Normally it's like, what are you buying me? But, I figured.
He didn't
Hey.
even ask Amy if he
Wait,
could buy her a donut.
in that case, if you're buying, I'll take the whole top tray.
I'll take a dozen, please. Yeah.
See that one right above your head? I'll take all that whole tray.
Exactly.
Raising private donuts.
Andy, what do you got for me today?
I'm gonna get a jelly roll.
A jelly roll?
Yeah.
I got one of those in my belly.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm doing an apple cinnamon.
Oh
Apple
yeah.
cinnamon works.
Apple cinnamon, homemade from Apple Hill up here in Cameron Park area, up near Sly Park and Jenkinson Lake up here. So homemade Apple Hill donuts. That's
My
what I'm going
address
with today.
is okay.
Well, okay, so we were going to ask your address, but since you're going to be at the event, hold on. There you go. The branding.
Here.
Okay.
There you
So
go.
He's
I
going to
love
bring you.
it. That's an awesome mug.
Actually, he's got a bunch of mugs he needs to bring because he's got to bring Amy a mug too.
Yeah, I
Just
gotta bring
make sure to
Amy
put a
mug.
donut inside.
Oh, good idea.
Oh, there you go.
I'm gonna have to bring in a dozen donuts, I think, when we go to Austin in November. So I think
Yeah,
that's
let's
happening.
do it.
This is
Let's
flipping.
do it.
I might leave
So-
Florida for a day just to go to Austin.
Oh,
Come out. We have a baby, so we're just gonna do a one nighter. Get there, get out. Like it's gonna be pretty fast, but it's gonna be fun.
So you guys, I know we're going really long, but you guys had Amy. During that time, I found other mentors. And then I found Amy. So my journey was a little different. So I'm now on stage at that mentorship program.
Ooh, where?
whoop, whoop.
In Florida.
Oh, that's awesome.
So those two women got my wife and I to where we are today. And that actually the real story is that Chris dragged me to the Long Beach event where I first met you when you were pregnant.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
And so
I did
love
literally
it.
drag him too.
he did drag me. And
By the ear. I was like,
Was
"Get
it
me
worth it?
I didn't get a Rolex guy.
He just got a dumb cop. He just got a dumb buddy. That's what he got.
Don't worry. One day we'll have a background of Rolexes instead of donuts. Don't worry. All of us
Yes.
will.
Exactly. Everybody getting a Rolex. Everybody
Get it. But you know,
Everybody
I'm
gets
still
it.
gonna have my donuts.
Yeah,
Yes,
me too.
I agree.
So, Amanda,
I agree.
Amanda, how do people find you? You already said it earlier, but how do people find you? Like on Instagram? What do they do?
Yeah, I do a lot of communication on Instagram. So it's _ Amanda Fornelli _ So just how my name's spelled here. Yeah, you can DM me. I check it pretty regularly. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm happy to share my email with anyone who needs it.
So
Awesome.
can people still buy tickets to this event that you're gonna be at?
Yeah, I believe so. I think VIP is sold out or near sold out. I think it's sold out. Yeah,
I
but we
think it
still
got
have general.
oversold. I think it got oversold. I think VIP got oversold.
Oh, right. She posted a video. She oversold. I think she got in trouble for that. But
Yep.
there's still general tickets. So if you are, I know a lot of people are procrastinators, usually get their tickets last minute. But if you're thinking about it, don't think anymore. Just go. Just buy it and go. You're gonna love it.
Yep.
Hopefully we'll see everybody there.
It'll change your life. And the what I found was we do calls every Tuesday and Thursday, although I wasn't on it today because I had to work, unfortunately. So
Amanda ran it. It was a good call. Amanda ran it. It was a good call.
It was probably, I'll have to watch the recording, but that's all part of it as well, the community, right?
Yep.
Yep.
So
it's huge. It's huge. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to hanging out with everyone again.
I know. I can't wait to see you. So Amanda, again, thank you for being a guest. You are a superstar. You are a rock star, mom, real estate investor, business partner, the whole bit, and mentor, and someone that looks up to, that I look up to. So I really, truly appreciate you being a guest. And Andy, always, it's great seeing you, my friend. But this is how we always end our shows. I will tell everybody that just remember to stay safe, to stay curious, and never underestimate the power of one good donut. And with that, my friends, we are 1010, and we are out. So see you on the next one, folks.